For those of you that may not be familiar with what's happening with Jimmy Kimmel, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a little bit of a synopsis.
This morning, Jimmy Kimmel off the air. The host seen leaving his studio last night after ABC announced it's suspending his long-running late-night show indefinitely. During his monologue Monday night, Kimmel made comments about the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, accusing Republicans of reaching new lows in response to the 22-year-old alleged killer, who authorities say had a leftist ideology.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The comments sparked outrage among many conservatives, including Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, which oversees broadcast licensing for local stations, speaking on Wednesday afternoon, threatening to take action against ABC and its parent company, Disney.
It appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Soon after, Nexstar, one of the largest television station groups in the country and currently seeking FCC approval for a merger, announced it would stop airing Kimmel on all of its ABC-affiliated stations. Within hours, ABC suspended Kimmel's show. Carr praising the move later in the evening.
I'm very glad to see that America's broadcasters are standing up to serve the interests of their community.
And on Truth Social, President Trump congratulating ABC for, quote, finally having the courage to do what had to be done. FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez, the lone Democrat on the panel, accusing the Trump administration of setting a dangerous precedent.
We must be careful not to allow the government to punish critics simply because of content.
Kimmel's suspension comes 2 months after CBS announced it was canceling their late-night show with another Trump critic, Stephen Colbert, CBS saying it was a financial decision. Over the last week, a growing number of people have been fired or suspended for their public comments about
All right, you get it. Everybody get it for the most part. So, let's start with Kimmy. Kimmy, what are your thoughts on Jimmy Kimmel getting suspended, ABC suspending them and pulling his show off air via Disney?
I mean, I really hate that for him. At the same time, I think that you have a responsibility to know who you're reporting to. And if they don't like that, you need to keep it to yourself or find yourself without a job.
Yeah. Let's go with Molly. Molly, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
I've never watched Jimmy Kimmel. I know he's extremely famous, but I've never really watched him to really have an opinion about him being fired. I just feel like, sorry. My household, I told you my household was anti-white. He was not about to be played. But I don't know. I think that you have to represent your employer however they see fit. So if it's controversial, I don't think he should have spoke on it. It's political, it's controversial. I don't think because you have a big platform that you have to talk about every single thing. And that's kind of a sensitive topic, so I can't say that I'm mad about their decision to fire him. I feel like it's kind of dangerous to make it politicized and kind of try to drive a wedge between people, right? Especially right now. So I don't know. I'm like, I think everybody should be able to say what they feel, but at the same time, you have to be responsible. And it's not your platform, so they can do what they want to
do. All right. Let me go with I'm gonna go with Quentin. Quentin, give me any thoughts on this?
I think he deserved it. And I think, as the dude said, it's his conduct that got him fired, not his speech. There's a difference.
Mm.
And I also think that everyone is all rah-rah about free speech, but free speech pertains to the government penalizing you, not private entities. So there's that as well. And nigga, read the room, homie. Everybody was getting fired and you just hopped on board too, my nigga.
Yeah.
Carrie.
So there's a couple of things. One, I don't think that what he said really should have got him fired per se. I think it was like one of those things where it's like too soon. Yeah, this is way too soon for this. Because he also played like this video clip saying how Trump was dealing with it, and it's like I'm fine or whatever he said.
You start talking about
But,
the boss.
yeah. Now that said, look, I was taught at an early age that he who has the gold makes the rules. So if you don't have the gold, then you ain't making the rules. And like Quentin just said, you got to read the room. So I think of it like you see those movies when there's the main guy and it's a fight scene and it's like 20 people that he's fighting and he knocks them out like one at a time. So by the time you get to the 13th, 14th person, it's like, really, dude, like you really want to fight me? You know you're going to lose. So anybody at this point who decides they want to have this strong opposing opinion regarding Charlie Kirk, you know what you're up against. Like, you could play the card of freedom of speech and all of that if you want to, but you got to recognize what you're potentially up against. And this is, what happened. I don't know how much this is true regarding Jimmy Kimmel's ratings. I've heard that his ratings have dropped, but I don't know if it's fair to just say it's him, because I would like to think that all late night TV shows ratings have probably dropped because people don't watch TV the same. But it probably made it even worse if the network was looking to make adjustments or looking for a reason to get rid of him to do something new. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that was the case, he certainly gave them an opportunity to kick him out. So.
And I think just like overall, like when they put freedom of speech in the Constitution, it had nothing about you just saying what the fuck you want to say. It was more about like you like denigrating the government and you be able to practice religion. It had nothing for just fucking talking and saying what the fuck you want.
And I think that people take the whole freedom of speech even more so out of context by acting like it means I am free to say what I want and not have any consequence to it. Like, nah, you can say whatever you want to say. Depending on where you say it, there will be certain consequences. So,
yeah. Mika?
So I am okay with the entire thing because he was okay with the entire thing. He had absolutely no problem with laughing and saying that Tucker Carlson should have lost his job. Okay, he said it was the best thing ever, and that it couldn't happen, to a better person. I mean, he made all types of jokes about Tucker Carlson losing his job, getting flown to Moscow, all this stuff, right? And that, when you spew this and that on your broadcast, that this is what happens. Okay. So it's the same thing. I said it before. Democrats play a dirty game of, I forgot I said that. Okay. That's what they do. So he himself, nobody else, he himself said the same thing that's exactly happening to him right now. So I don't feel no which ways for him because he was fine with it. So he can be fine with it now, which is probably why he's quiet.
Mm.
And then on the other hand, it's exactly what Quentin said. Everybody goes to the, well, what about free speech? Free speech, yes, is only directed towards the government. It has absolutely nothing to do with the whole legal process. People forget that people have contracts, people have stipulations, code of conducts, all these things. So with that being said, what did you do? One, to break that, okay? And it can be the smallest thing, but it is what it is. And then, yeah, I agree with Carrie as well. The ratings for all of these shows are low, and they were already looking to switch things up, especially in the climate that they're in, because let's be clear, a lot of people don't understand broadcasting history. These people are on the air for free. And so when you're on the air for free, you're saying, okay, well, I can just say and do what I want. Well, this is a privilege. This is not a right. The government can actually go ahead and make you pay to be on the air like everybody else, all the cable networks and everything else. So you have a duty to actually do what the government is asking you to do. And I think a lot of people skip over that fact because ABC, CBS, and NBC are on air for free because they have a deal with the United States government.
Slammy.
Hypocrisy. That was the first thing that came to my mind because when everybody was Ghostbug and the jab, everybody was screaming censorship because folks was saying, oh no, we want to be able to talk and speak freely about the jab. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, so this is censorship because y'all don't want nobody talking about Trump. You don't want anybody, because he didn't talk about Charlie Kirk. Let's just be honest. He didn't say nothing about the dude for real. He was talking about Trump's reaction to to Charlie Kirk passing away. And Trump started talking about a ballroom being built. So he didn't even talk about Charlie Kirk. So this is bullshit. And basically at the end of the day, they're telling and people getting fired because they are speaking on Charlie Kirk and he just got killed. This is all censorship. It's all it is. Period. Bottom line, there's no denying it. Because Charlie Kirk, he himself actually spoke on the dead and it was cool. So you can't walk a fine line and then tell other people that they can't. This is picking and choosing who you want to speak freely and who you don't. And if somebody speaks freely against what you feel, well, then you want to cancel them. This is all this is. So we got to call it like it is. But then underneath that, it's a deeper, darker, and it's undeniable because they did this with somebody else. And I think they mentioned them in the video. But anyway, I'm just going to keep it on Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel was one of the people that pushed the vaccination. I mean, the jab. He's definitely somebody that pushed it. Now, fast forward, those companies that Moderna and I forget the other company, they are under the same umbrella that Disney is. So this is all a farce. He's still gonna get paid no matter what. They fired him, but he was cool when he pushed the agenda for them. Now that he's just speaking about Trump, now it's a problem. But like Mika just said, they got government contracts. Of course they do, because they're all owned by BlackRock. Of course they do. All these companies are under the umbrella company, including the companies that they used for the vaccination. The jab, my bad, y'all. For the jab. That's why he was pushing it. So now you want to cancel him when he's not saying something that you like. It's all hypocrisy. But this goes back to what I said last week. There's no left. There's no right. There's no conservative. There's no liberal. There's no Republican. There's no Democrat. Doesn't exist. They all use this to be divisive. They all use it to be divisive. There's your solid proof right there. You gonna deny it? You want the blue pill or the red pill? Which one you want? Because it's in your face. They telling you. They telling you. There's no denying it. Jimmy Kimmel is the perfect example. They telling you, I need people to wake up. You got it. You got the information. Wake up.
So, Slimmy, do you think that doing something like firing Jimmy Kimmel, who is so he's in the public eye the way that he is, would make maybe everybody else start to think, well, if they're going to fire him, maybe I shouldn't say anything either. And so it makes people like self-censor.
Of course, that's the whole purpose. He's not really fired. He's still going to get paid. He's still going to, listen, 9 times out of 10, these people are just doing what they're told. They read a script. Jimmy Kimmel don't write those jokes. He's just a fucking, Dave Chappelle didn't write those jokes. Charles Mooney did.
That is a fact. Yeah, Paul Mooney did. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I said Charles. Yeah, Paul Mooney.
I know you.
I'm sorry.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
I know what you meant. Mm-hmm.
Do y'all think he would have got fired if he would have said it on like YouTube on his own platform versus Jimmy Kimmel show?
He probably wouldn't even.
Or would
say
it not have mattered?
Because he might not even be that creative or funny.
That's true.
He's reading a script.
I agree with some of your analysis, Slimmy. Where I think it differs is again, you got Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, I agree that he's a puppet, like most of them, right? Okay, we agree there. But Jimmy Kimmel is actually going on. Okay, so we talked about ABC and CBS having to do certain things. Also in their contract is the fact that they have to report the news accurately. Because when they started, they were just news corporations. They weren't entertainment companies, right? So they have to report the news accurately. That's actually in their government contract. When he said the thing about the right spent the whole time saying that the guy wasn't MAGA, this and this and that and the third, when whether you want to believe it or not, the preponderance of the evidence actually shows that he is a leftist, right? Then now you're just willfully being stupid or willfully wanting to stray your audience away. Now you can say, in my personal opinion, I don't think the information or the findings are correct or are truthful, right? But that is the findings from the police reports, from the FBI, this, that, and the third, right? So he didn't even report that correctly. So he's already setting his audience up to say, okay, yeah, this is what's actually happening when it's not. It's an entire lie. And this is Monday. This is not when it happened, right? To where you can say, okay, I may have thought this and that last week. This is Monday. You've been watching the same news cycle as everybody else. You watch the same press conference that the Utah personnel gave out there. So you've watched all this stuff and you still decided to say something else. Your opinion and the fact of the evidence is two different things. Just like we were just talking about our opinions on the girl found in the trunk, right? We can have our opinions on what happened, but then you have the preponderance of the facts of what's going on in the case. So the facts of the matter is that boy was dating a transgender, living with a transgender. They pulled the text messages. We were just talking about that. They pulled the text messages. They pulled Snapchats, all that stupid stuff. They pulled all of that stuff on top of certain phone calls and conversations, because again, we just talked about nothing is secret, nothing is hidden. They have all that information. And from that's what we know. Plus, he has the Bella Ciao. Okay, if you know about Mussolini and things like that, those type of dictators. Okay, and then you have the catch fascists. Nobody says fascists except the crazy ass people on the left. Okay, and then on top of that, you have the if you're reading this, you're gay, right? Like at the end of the day, that is the evidence. You didn't even want to present that to your audience, which tells me you wanted to have them believe something. That's propaganda. That's literally what propaganda is. Instead of reporting the facts and then saying, I don't agree with it, but these are the facts. You just said what you wanted to say.
Well, the only problem with that, Mika, is like, he's not the shooter.
I don't think so either.
He's not.
Again,
Like,
but
like, so
again, again, though.
wait. Since you want to go back to this thing, no sniper shoots alone without a spotter. And that
Without a
kid
what?
couldn't have made that shot. Plus, the shot came from this way. It came from this side. It didn't
Right.
come from directly
We can
on. So
dissect it.
that's false.
We
So
can
he's not the shooter
Right.
though. So he's not the shooter. But the point is,
Go ahead.
like, it doesn't negate the fact that they are still trying to force censorship upon people, and they want you to see it so you can then not speak. And no, I'm not wrong. It's been proven that that you go watch some other shit, man, because y'all looking real programmed in the chat. Y'all looking real programmed. Just go watch some other
think
shit.
of
Get some
that?
other sources.
Why do
Get
you
some
think
other
of that?
sources, man. This
Why
ain't
do
no
you,
fucking conspiracy. It's actually in the actual video with Charlie Kirk. They show the right angle. The bullet came from this way. Didn't come from this way. It doesn't even make sense from even the way he was leaking.
Okay,
So
but
you got it.
okay, so let's look at even with that, right? It still wouldn't have been a MAGA person. So now you're introducing, let's just talk about it from the conspiracy point. It's still not a MAGA person. So he's still lying.
It's still a
You get
diversion
what
to
I'm
throw
saying?
you
But he's
off.
still lying.
It's
He's
still a
still
diversion to
lying.
throw you off.